This dip has more layers than a Netflix drama, and you don't even need a subscription. So we've all heard of the 7-layer dip. Well, this is a 7-layer dip plus a bonus, and it's all plant-based.
It was actually inspired by a oops, which we have had a couple of those recently on the channel, and I think that's really important to share because we're all human, right? So our oops for this particular recipe was slightly overcooked beans.
My fault. I put them in the Instant Pot for about maybe 5 minutes too long. Still mastering what bean has how many minutes in the Instant Pot.
They're all different.
They are a little different. And if you leave it too long after it's done, and if you, it's crazy. But anyway, I made a whole big batch of pinto beans. And when I say a big batch, it was like 3 cups dried beans, and I overcooked them all.
And he was a little frustrated, and I'm like, don't worry, we want to test out 7-layer dip anyway, and this is a perfect consistency for that.
Yeah,
well,
it actually
today we're using canned beans, so we don't have the overcooked beans, so we have to make the consistency that we want.
So I'm going to mess them up on purpose this time. So I have here a can of, it's Walmart, no salt added pinto beans. Almost any bean will work, like black beans would be great too, but pinto beans is like the classic. I'm just going to strain these out because you don't really want the bean water. All right, I just roughly rinsed them. I didn't really rinse them. There's still a little, stuff on them. It's okay. So right into food processor. This happens to be the attachment for the Vitamix food processor, but any food processor should work for this.
Now we're going to add some flavor to these beans. We're going to start off with our homemade veggie broth.
Yep, this is a half cup. You might need more, you might need less. I'm making this a little on the loose side, so half cup. Any veggie broth will work, or like if you have the better than bouillon stuff, make it into a half cup of broth. That's all good too. But the homemade veggie broth made from kitchen scraps, it's just awesome. It's amazing for this.
Next up is cumin.
How much?
We need a half teaspoon, please.
I'm gonna eyeball the half teaspoon because it's just what I do. And it's cumin. I mean, if you like more, use more. If you want less, use less. Can you leave it out if you really want to? Yep. I say that because I always get asked, what if I don't like cumin? Or what if I'm allergic to this? Or what if I'm allergic to that? Well, then just leave it out. It's no big deal.
Next up is chili powder. We're going to do a full teaspoon of this.
Now, this is dark chili powder. It's also not spicy at all. You can make things spicy if you want to, but that's where the bonus layer comes in later. So a teaspoon, right?
Yep.
Again, you can use more. You can use less if you want to.
And then a half teaspoon of black pepper. Now, I hope you're sitting down because you might be a little shocked by the vessel I just handed Brian. No, we're not using our grinder because we got some fancy peppercorns and they're different sizes. So having those different size corns in a hand grinder kind of messes up the works.
Yep.
So we just take small batches, blitz them up in our spice grinder and keep them on reserve because we go through so much black pepper, we don't have to worry about it losing any flavor.
I'm actually finding I like it better this way because I can measure it out with my fingers a lot better than using the grinder. Just seems to work better for me. Anything else in this?
That is it.
Okay, so let's put the lid on. And blitz this up till it's smooth. So 30 seconds on the food processor is all I really needed. Let's take a look. So as I look inside, we have a lovely consistency. There's still a little bit of chunks in there. I'm okay with that. Essentially, what we just did is made a non-cooked version of refried beans.
Yep.
Really, really simple. You can actually just heat these up and eat them just the way. Did I just spray?
A little bit.
Wow. Okay, but what I want to do now is take the blade out of here because, we don't need the blade anymore.
Would you like me to do this for you?
I am horrible at this part.
This is normally my job.
Yeah. All right, this is going to go into, this is not a Pyrex. Wow, this is a Anchor Hocking. 8 by 11 or 2-quart baking dish. Whatever you got is fine. Just something that's oven safe. Oh, by the way, in case you haven't done it yet, like me, turn your oven on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I did. Okay, and I'm just going to spoon this all out into the baking dish. This is where making it a little thinner actually works. Plus, it's a little bit more liquid for later on when we bake it. Because if it's too thick now, it's going to be really thick after we bake it. And I know not all 7-layer dips are baked, but mine is. You can serve it hot or cold, though. Either way is good. Which means I guess you don't have to bake it. I like to.
I like to bake it. I think it gives some
Softens
maturity to the flavors.
Yeah.
They meld better that way.
It softens up some of the veg, too. Like the bonus layer.
And the frozen corn.
And yeah, the frozen corn is going to make it, where you really want to heat that up. We're not just a cooking show, we're a comedy team as well, if you haven't figured that out. I'm joking. I used to make jokes like when we were wedding photographers, I would say, we're paying for the show, the photography's free, or something like that. I forget exactly how I said it. Okay, so now I have it all in my pan. I'm just gonna spread it out to the edges. This is enough for like a meal for the two of us, basically, is what I'm making here.
But it's not really intended to be a meal, but it can be, and we'll talk about that later at the end of this meal.
That all depends what your intentions are. Okay, so we have that. So what's next?
That frozen corn we talked about earlier.
I have half a cup here, and like we said, it is frozen. If you want to use canned, you can do that. If you want to use fresh, you can do that too. And I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it over, making a nice even layer. The exact order of things for this really isn't crucial. I just didn't want too many gloopy, liquidy things next to each other.
It's a good idea to have the items such as the corn and the other fresh ingredients that you want the flavor components to soak into to be underneath those flavor components.
Sure, that makes sense. All right, next we're going to work on our sour cream or cashew cream. For that, the NutriBullets. You can use a Vitamix too if you want to. This is a small quantity though, so a lot of time the NutriBullet works really, really well for this. We will have a link to this in the description if anybody was interested. This thing has been great. I mean, I really don't use the Vitamix blender much since we got this. It's actually really amazing.
For the two of us, for making sauces, this is definitely the way to go.
How much cashews do I need?
Half cup, please.
I'm gonna eyeball half cup. I really shouldn't, but I'm going to. Am I the only one that does that? Anytime you get something out of a bag or whatever, you always have to have one?
Now we're using the whole unsalted cashews, but that's because we trust this blender. We know it's going to blitz through them. If you don't have a high-powered blender, you're probably going to want to either boil or soak your cashews overnight, and that'll make it a lot easier to blend.
Yeah, when she says boil, just drop them into some boiling water for about 10 minutes. That actually does the job. Okay, what's next?
A half cup water.
Half cup water.
A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
Tablespoon? I rewrote that to teaspoon.
Teaspoon, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Too much makes it really vinegary.
Yeah. And a teaspoon of lemon juice.
All right, don't hate me. I'm using bottled lemon juice. You know why? We didn't have any fresh lemons available right now, so bottled it is. It works fine for stuff like this. Half a teaspoon or a teaspoon?
A teaspoon.
The reason for the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar in this is it adds that tanginess that you get from a sour cream. It makes it just a little bit sour, just to add to the flavors.
Speaking of flavors, it's time for the Wonder Twins. 1 teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder.
Did the double.
And now we blend.
Oh. And I usually run it like 2 cycles on the NutriBullet because it has like that smoothie thing where it just goes until it's done. I do 2 cycles and that should do it. But main trick, give it a good shake before you run it. Just like that. Because first, you find out if you didn't put the bottom on tight enough, like I did. And second, it gets all the stuff off the lid so that it can blend up a lot easier. Okay, if you do the NutriBullet on 2 cycles, it's going to build up a little bit of pressure and heat. So oven is preheated now. So you have to sneak up on it so that it doesn't spit at you. Because usually it sprays me with cashew cream all the time.
And that means
just go really, really
very
slow.
slowly release the pressure.
As soon as you start to hear it hiss, back off and slow down. There we go. See, just like that.
Ta-da.
Comes out beautifully. And we have this nice, beautifully thick enough sour cream. So do we want to do that right now? No, I don't think we want sour cream yet.
We just wanted it prepared.
I just wanted it ready. Okay.
All right. Now it's time to dice a tomato.
I think so. So, dice tomatoes. Simple stuff. I normally make chef snacks of the top, but for this I'm not.
Because that's the size basically. Well,
I need it to be diced.
Yeah.
So no chef snacks. That's why I had the cashew earlier, because, gotta have chef snacks while you're cooking.
I predict another chef snack is coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. Because we lied. This isn't really a 7-layer dip anymore.
This is like a 9-layer.
Yeah. we have 2 bonus layers. I believe in, if you're going to do something, overdo it. So, you know. Plus, I always thought it was kind of cheesy the way they say a 7-layer dip, and like one of the layers is like 4 pieces of onion or something. That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to start sprinkling the onion on top.
That's not onion.
I'm just going to start sprinkling the tomato on top. They probably can't see that. Can you hold that? We're running out of space here.
Space, final frontier.
Yeah, I'm really good at using up all available space when I'm doing stuff. Careful, it's running.
Oh.
You want to hold it flat.
Okay, I thought the point was so that they could see it.
Well, they can sort of see it now, but they couldn't see it when it was up here. Right? I like a lot of tomato. They're good for you. Okay, tomato layer.
So I'm going to clear the set here so that way we can set this down here.
Yeah. If it seems a little awkward, we are still kind of getting used to this kitchen, so.
You want to put your first secret
Oh, yeah.
layer?
The first of the super secret bonus layers is a jalapeno. And I'm going to show you how I cut a jalapeno. It's really, really simple. I hold it by the handle, also known as the stem. And then just cut down that way. Cut down the other side after rotating 90 degrees. And then chop. This way, I am not touching the pepper at all. And yeah, I do the stem and the or not the stem. I do the core and the seeds. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but it's harder to seed it when you do it my way.
If you want the fruitiness of a pepper without the heat of a jalapeno, then use any pepper, like a bell pepper, for example.
A red bell pepper would work well too.
That you choose.
Yeah, well, I just think, a little heat is a good thing in this. And to further make me not have to touch the pepper, I have an idea. The humble dough scraper. And then I'm just going to take the back of my knife, push it on, and then I can use that to kind of gently sprinkle it onto our dip. You probably noticed I'm not being super careful because it doesn't matter. It's a dip. It's meant to be like all over the place, and you're going to swirl something in there anyway. It's all good. But you want a little bit in every bite of everything. I'm a very careful cook, but I'm also not fastidious about little things like that. To me, that's just not important. But no jalapeno juice on my hands.
Now, to counter that spicy jalapeno, we're going to add some deliciously creamy avocado.
Now, avocado are like Schrodinger's fruit because you never know what's inside until you open it. It could be good, could be ripe, could be overripe, and gross. We had both in the same batch just yesterday.
Yep.
Here we go. The moment of truth. And it's good. Okay. Now, you can use, you know what? I need a butter knife. Now, you can use the whole thing if you want to, or just half. I'm going to use the whole thing today because why not? And I'm just making like cubes, doing a crosshatch pattern, going down to the skin, but not past the skin. That way it doesn't cut into my hand and stuff. And then you just run this around the outside and the pieces start to fall out. And again, we're just going to try to distribute those as best we can. Still have the other half. Now, to get out the pit, everybody freaks out about this. People say, you shouldn't hold it in your hand to do this. If you do not have good enough coordination that you can't do that, perhaps you should do it on the table. But that's all I had to do. Just kind of nick the edge, give it a little twist, and it pops out. Now, this is the dangerous part. Don't do this. You come off the back of the blade and push it. That's all you got to do. Really simple. I've seen people freak out for years about that, and it's the easiest thing ever. And again, just cube it up, pile it on. This is going to be a loaded, well, it's supposed to be loaded, right? That's the idea. Yeah, get that little piece of skin. Yeah. You don't want the skin. If you see little hanger-oners of skin, get rid of them. It helps if you have 4 hands.
Now, if somebody complains that they got too much avocado in their bite from your 7-layer dip,
don't give them any more of your 7-layer dip. That's a personal problem right there. Now, before somebody freaks out on me because I know we've always said we're doing low fat, I have come to realize that, just cutting out oils is probably enough and being a little careful. This is something that you kind of go a little extravagant with.
But we're not going to eat all of this in one sitting. That's not what its intention is.
We might.
We're not.
But we might. Another bonus layer that wasn't originally on our list, and I was like, how are we not putting them on there, is black olives. One of my favorite things ever. And for the black olives, it's really, really simple. Oh, that knife has some avocado.
Oh, no.
Chef snack. For the black olives, really, really simple. I'm just going to take it and cut it into 3 slices. That's it. How many olives is completely up to you. You should cook this with your heart.
That's right.
It's kind of like garlic. Because whatever I write on the recipe for how many, I'm going to use twice as much. Because, like I said, they're one of my favorite things. And remember earlier when Derica said there'll be another chef snack? She was talking about the black olives. I just love them. The thing with olives is, you start cutting them and you go, oh, is that enough? Oh, I could do one more. I can always do one more. Basically, you want a good smattering of flavors. It's kind of like making a sandwich here, because we want a little bit of thought to structural integrity in that we don't want mushy on top of mushy. We don't want things that are going to blend together right on top of each other. That's why we didn't put the cashew cream right on top of the beans, because they would just mix together and it would lose their independent flavors and textures. That sounded good, right?
All right, you're good.
One more.
All right.
And I'm just gonna disperse the black olive. I mean, this is looking awesome already. You could eat this with a spoon the way it is right now, and it would be good. You could put this on the bumper of a Volkswagen, and it would be good. If anybody gets that reference, let me know.
So
next,
these 2 layers, which is next? Salsa?
I'm gonna do salsa first.
Okay.
Now, either way works, because it doesn't really matter. Yes, we're using the paste chunky salsa. If you want to make your own, you can do that. Any salsa that you like. And I'm just literally going to drizzle some over, like little lumps of it here and there. Not being super careful, again, just like before. This is a scatter dish. That's a good word. It's a scatter dish. You just kind of scatter the ingredients around. Because my feeling is if you cover every inch of it evenly, it might not cook as well. Like, I want some of the liquids to come out. So if I have it coated in a liquid, it won't necessarily come out so easily. Whoops. Not exactly last, but second to last before it goes in the oven, is our sour cream or the cashew cream. And for that too, I'm just going to drizzle over the top. We don't want a lot of this, so we probably made more than we need, but that's because there's like a minimum you can make in a Vitamix. So you need to watch that minimum. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really good.
There's a minimum you can make in any blender, even the NutriBullet.
Yeah. Okay, so now this is ready to go in the oven. Like I said, you don't have to cook it, but those corn, you probably want them defrosted. So I'm just going to bake this in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not exact on that because I don't want to burn anything. As soon as I see things start to look like they're getting color, I'm done. It's
now,
done.
do you want to cover it, or do you
No,
want...
I put it in just like this.
So that
I
some of
want
the
the
extra
evaporation.
moisture... Okay.
That's why we make the beans a little bit more liquidous. That's why frozen corn is actually better because it does have some liquid in there too.
That's true.
So I like to do it this way because it thickens up just a touch.
And having the corn near the bottom is going to help because that's going to steam the stuff on top of it.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I thought of that. Okay, so our dip is done. It's been sitting for a few minutes, so it's room temperature warm.
But there's one more layer.
That's right. And that layer is scallions, green onions, however you like to call them. I am cutting them with about 1 inch at the end because...
He married a gardener.
That's right. She's going to grow them. She has a video on her channel, which is City Sitting Plant Life, where she grows stuff, and she shows how to grow those into the greens part. It's
super easy.
Wonderful. And for these, I'm going to make nice thin slices on the bias, pretty much as far up as I can go before I get to the ends. I don't like the ends. You can cook these right in it if you want to. I just like, having that nice fresh crunch at the end. Something cold on top of things that are hot is actually a really nice combo.
You can also add the cashew cream after it's baked if you prefer it that way as well. We don't mind that it does a color change because it is a nut-based cream, but some people that might be their thing, so you have options.
It's your 7-layer dip. Make it the way you want to.
With 11 layers if you like.
Ours has 9. 7 of 9. No, I didn't plan that joke. See, the ends, not my... Nope. No ends. They go in broth bowl, right?
Broth bag.
All right, and I'm just going to unceremoniously dump the scallions on top because how else do you do it? And then to eat this, use tortilla chips if you want to, but they're fried and loaded with fat. So we found these pitas that are
Joseph's pitas.
Joseph's. They're flax and something else really, really good.
Yep.
And I just defrosted them because we keep them in the freezer because you don't want to refrigerate bread of any kind. It'll actually go stale. So we freeze them and they're just as good as the day we bought them. But I'm going to cut them into, you know, pie-shaped quarters.
Now, obviously, they're not frozen anymore. We thawed them out and then give them a light toast in the toaster oven.
All right. So now we have our spoon. We also have our delivery device. We also have the base that we're going to eat it with. But you know what we don't have? A thumbnail picture yet or the video that you already saw at the beginning of the video. So we're going to go do that right now. Be right back. All right. Because, you know, it's pita. They're kind of floppy. I'm just
going in with a spoon.
Yeah, I'm just going to use a spoon to scoop some on there. Oh, get some beans, got some corn, got a little bit of everything.
Your black olive tried to escape. I saw that.
Yep. And here we go.
Pink and sink. Mm. That's good eating.
Mm-hmm. All those flavors just work so nicely together. Fantastic. There's a little bit of heat from the jalapeno. If you don't like the heat, leave it out. Other than that, there's no spice in this. But the sauce that we made, that cashew sauce and the avocado work so nicely together to simulate cheese. They give that creaminess that you need without, you know, the actual problems that come from cheese of any kind. Even plant-based cheese has a lot of fats and oils in it. And then the scallions on top. That's like the icing on the cake. It has just this nice fresh pop, little bit of spicy. Green onions can be a little, you know, they have that bite, but they're crunchy and fresh, and they add just so nice to this.
Now, if you don't want to do a pita or a carb-based delivery device, then celery sticks or any type of veg is really going to be good in this.
Mm-hmm.
And that fresh veg with your cooked ingredients is going to have a nice counter as well. You can also just take a tortilla and a spoon and fill it up and eat it like a taco or a burrito.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different vegetables in here that it really isn't cheating, even though you're basically eating dip.
Yep. And also, storage options. This can be served warm, hot, or cold. You can keep it in the fridge. I would cover it. Just put some plastic wrap over it. Cover it. It'll last in the fridge for several days. If it lasts that long, ours never seems to. I've made this a few times now, and it goes fast.
Yep.
Anyway, make this. Enjoy it. This is a great summertime dish to share with others. People would, because it's accidentally plant-based, if you think about it that way.
If you're invited to a potluck, bring this.
Yeah, people will love it. It's just amazing. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and see you next time on
The Bistro.